These are the faces of the Briars Highland Fling. Faces conveying the triumph, accomplishment and pain. Reputed to be the toughest marathon race in the country, it also serves as the finale to Australia's premier mountain bike competition, the Real Insurance XCM series. The series has been very closely fought, and after 5 events, only a single podium place could decide the series between the leading contenders, Andy Blair and Sean Lewis. Not just the race, the Highland Fling has evolved into a true mountain bike festival with numerous support events, including the Roll-Off World Championships, the aim being to roll as far as possible without pedalling, and the Bundanoon Dash, a short, fast and tough warm-up to the next day's marathon race. Andy Blair showed he had great form coming into the event, taking the dash in style.
I wasn't actually going to do it this year, but Dan McConnell was heckling me before the race and he said I've got 4th in that event 5 times, so I thought I'd better have a go at trying to actually win it. If I get 2nd, I can still win the series, but I want to win the Fling, so it's a funny thing where, you know, it's at the end of a series, which means a lot, but it's also a race that means a lot on its own. So there's sort of 2 things going on tomorrow. I think, you know, I thought about a lot of scenarios and who's doing what and the series, and if it goes well, then hopefully I'll take the race and the series.
Peter Mullins firing a warning shot by winning the women's category.
I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Last year was my first year and I love the course, it's amazing, and yeah, really excited to get out there again tomorrow.
But saving her legs for the main race was women's series leader Jenny Fay.
Well, after winning 5 from 5, yeah, it motivates me tomorrow to wrap up the series with the last one. And of course, this race is very special to me because I won it last year.
The first start wave would see the non-elite categories depart, as well as those competitors for whom 116 kilometres simply isn't enough.
I'm doing the 100-mile event, 165 kilometres I think it ends up being. Never done that sort of distance before.
This is my first Highland Fling. I've never been able to do it before, so I decided I'd have a crack at the long and fun format first.
Before the elite start, Sean Lewis was presented with his series leader's jersey, one that he deeply hoped to retain at day's end.
A bit nervous as well, pretty excited for the race. Should be a good day.
With a full complement of over 2,000 riders now on course, the race was on from the gun, the pace scorching from the first kilometre. Many calling it the highest quality field ever assembled for a mountain bike race in this country. As the elite men hit the first water crossing, a group of 3 had broken away. Ben Mather, Adrian Jackson and Andy Blair. They had only seconds to the main group. The gap opened as they entered the fast, open roads of Penrose Forest. Trenton Day bridged across to the leaders, while the chasing group splintered under the pressure. Kilometres later, the groups rejoined and would stay together as they entered the first transition at Wingello. Blair and Lewis then entering into a dangerous game of cat and mouse, allowing their rivals a break as they both used up every second of the allowable transition time. the stage set for a gripping race within a race.
Sean and I left together. I dropped Sean, bridged across to the other boys in the front bunch, so I was sitting on the back thinking, that's perfect. I can just sit here with 2.5 minutes up my sleeve.
Peter Mullins showed again that she's on form, right on the wheel of Jenny Fay at the water crossing and leading the women into the transition. The long and gruelling King of the Mountains climb at the midpoint of the race can often prove decisive. Defending champion Dylan Cooper, Trenton Day, Brendan Johnson and Adrian Jackson all together at the start of the climb, but Blair notably absent. Cresting the climb, the rider known as AJ showed he had the legs to cement his win of the King of the Mountain classification for the series. After falling back to 5th place with teammate Sean Lewis, Dylan Cooper fought his way back to race leader Adrian Jackson. Exiting the last single track section together, the final kilometres would prove to be a fast and furious dash to the line. The unrelenting pace proved too much for Cooper, his legs cramping as he would watch Jackson ride solo toward the finish. After a year that has included winning the National Cyclocross Series and a string of podiums in the XCM Series, his victory in the Highland Fling caps off a stellar 2012 season for the versatile Victorian. Dylan Cooper narrowly held on to second over a fast-charging Brendan Johnson.
Yeah, over the moon. This is one of the biggest marathons in the country, so to win this one, it's a massive race to have on your list of victories. Both Dylan and I knew that I had a little bit less time out on the road on him as he came into the second feed zone a bit behind us, so he would have had to actually attack and get away from me to beat me. And he was cramping a bit and he dropped back a few times, and in the end it was just like the final road climb with a couple of kilometres to go. He just was screaming in pain.
Eyes then turned to the series contenders, and it was the #1 plate that came into view first. Sean Lewis's 5th placing, enough to win the series from an unlucky Andy Blair, just 1 minute behind.
Not a good day, you know, sometimes it doesn't always work out, but like, I know I had good legs today, and it's just a shame I couldn't capitalise on probably what was the best start I've ever had. Then I got a flat tyre, they fixed it, got going again, and it must have bulged out the hole and it blew up again.
Not my greatest day on the bike, but as it happened, I was able to do enough to hang on to the series, and a few things played out there, so very tactical. If you get one big win a year, that's a good year. Yeah, right. So when I got a win at the Wombat, I was quite stoked. Then to pick up 2 more wins, it's just been, for me, a great season.
While the series result for the women was never in doubt, Jenny Fay had been put under pressure early in the race by Peter Mullins. Fay showed her climbing prowess, taking the Queen of the Mountain, but Mullins was never more than a couple of minutes behind.
Jenny Fay!
Fay was brought to tears on the finish by the sheer toughness of the race and the realisation that she had achieved her goal of winning every race in the 2012 Real Insurance XCM Series.
It's amazing. This is the race I wanted to win, to complete the 6 from 6. And when I was racing today, I was thinking to myself, I always say that it's a prestigious race and it's great, but it's the hardest. It's absolutely the hardest.
With the excitement of the main race having long subsided, a sole rider entered the finish chute, the figure of Ed McDonald, who after 168 kilometres and almost 7 hours on the bike, won the men's ultra-marathon category.
I like the description of the Highland Fling as the race it just keeps giving, because it kept giving out there for a long time. It just kept giving fun, and then in the last 30 Ks it just kept giving pain.
The podiums for the Real Insurance XCM Series shared in $10,000 in cash prizes, making it the most lucrative race series in the country. With over 6,000 competitors across 6 races, the Real Insurance XCM Series has transformed Australian mountain biking.
It's changed the sport. We have a lot better depth in the races. They're more exciting, and it's much more motivating to show up to them because you know you're going to get a good battle every time you hit the start line in a Real Insurance race. So it certainly has taken the racing to another level.
Details of the 4th year of the series will be announced in the coming weeks. Tim Sheedy for Cycle Nation.